Welcome to Meet in the Lobby, a podcast by Avendra International, a leading global provider of professional procurement services. Avendra's Lobby serves as the perfect meeting spot for the latest topics and news impacting the hospitality industry, including unique perspectives and innovative solutions from the industry's leading experts. All right, so we have a great podcast lined up for you today. We're talking about global fall food trends, and we have the man of the hour, Paul Bloxham. Paul brings over 25 years of experience in his role as head of culinary at Avendra International Europe. He combines his creativity and strategic vision and a deep passion for food. Again, it's my pleasure to welcome Chef Paul Bloxham. How are you doing today?
Dorien, Melissa, look, that's some intro. Pleasure to be with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, look, Paul, tell us a little bit about your background and what you're doing at Avendra International.
So look, this is my second tour with the firm. I was previously culinary director for Aramark in the UK. It was a great time, represented a couple of US banks along the way. But I suppose my background before that was some exclusive hotels and restaurants, some slightly off the wall ones as well. We'll probably come to that a little bit later, which adds to the character. But I suppose with my role with Avendra, it's connecting culinary and our clients' culinary teams, getting us closer together and into the weeds of their business, providing support like product and menu innovation and support like that, and also troubleshooting. And oh god, the list is huge. I even did a photo shoot last week for somebody for Instagram to give them a leg up. You know, it's part of the kit bag, so why not? Look, it's a really diverse role, but look, one thing we've all got in common, guys, is we've got one goal: to deliver outstanding hospitality, and that's the one that keeps us all together.
So, Paul, obviously, I've had the pleasure of working with you in Europe, and I've actually gotten to see firsthand the positive impact that you've made when engaging with our clients on menu planning, among other things. And so, in your role, you really do have a view into the flavor trends all throughout Europe and even beyond. And so, when thinking about fall flavor trends, what are the most prominent flavors and meals we should expect to see on the menus?
Hey, this is a tough question because like flavor profiles and trends globally, let alone for Europe, it's like a bit of a hamster wheel. It goes, you know, especially with Instagram and the internet. You know, some are here today, gone tomorrow. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, crumbs. I mean, let's look at the summer. At the end of the day, we look at the summer. We had chicken tenders and caviar, and I just read today that that's going to the US Open. So that's how trends and flavor profiles really move really quickly. So it's hard to put your finger on. But look, we move into the colder months. We are sort of getting towards those more heady, you know, warming flavors. You know, you're all wrapped up for the winter there, you know, in your woolies and your scarves. We're looking at stuff that's going to give us deep, rich umami flavors and that big hug in food. So look, it's for me things like next level spicy. We sort of call it spicy, you know, that sweet and savory vibe. You know, I think a lot of people are looking for the next level up on the Scoville scale. Not for me. Those Scotch bonnets, those ghost chilies, they're out of my reach. But you know, there's some great trends coming through now from Libya. There's a lovely chili paste called Pipple Chuma. If you're going to see it on menu soon, if you haven't already, it really is. It's like a gochujang. It's full of umami and spice and warmth. So look out for things like Pipple Chuma. I'm seeing a lot of tea and coffee entering into things at the moment. You know, hibiscus and lapsang souchong. Those really like interesting flavors coming into desserts, cocktails. You know, they're sort of entering into cocktails, those sort of sweet tea syrups and flavors. Actually, we've just written a bit for the magazine coming out later in the fall about cocktails. So, yeah, be sure to check out the magazine, which is really, really good. And then coffee, just when you thought an affogato had been forgotten, it's being reinvented. That coffee and ice cream vibe is fantastic. So, coffee and tea flavors are really there, especially in the cookery side of things. I suppose it couldn't be winter without in Europe, and I know it's probably the same in the US, is our Christmas markets and those really festive, especially throughout Europe, through London, Brussels, Prague, you name it, really enchanting. So hot chocolate's going to be really on the menu, that chocolate, but not just any chocolate. In tough times, we're looking for a bit of indulgence, no? And hot chocolate is one way of doing it, and pimp it up how you like, marshmallows, you name it. Could even be salted egg.
I'm sorry, what?
I know it's one of those big umami flavors to watch out for. It seems to be hitting all menus at the moment. I read something the other day, guys, that by 2031, the revenue of salting egg is going to be something like $3.5 billion. Forgive me. So that's how much we like salted egg, and you're seeing that absolutely everywhere. Just a couple more flavors for the fall and for winter. Coming from Japan, yuzu isn't going nowhere. So those sort of healthy citrusy vibes are there. We love those. And I was fortunate enough to somebody bought me a cocktail the other day, and I had a citrus yuzu spritz. Wow. I mean, it really was mind blowing. Maybe not so much full, like, it wasn't like a hot toddy or something like that, but it was really delicious. And Sancho pepper, that really sort of mouth numbing, citrusy taste on your tongue. Great with maybe a steak au poivre, or and you're gonna have to tell me about this, or a michelada. Now it's something I've only just discovered, a dirty Bloody Mary. I mean, why not? How Instagrammable is that? But a little bit of Sancho pepper on your michelada is meant to go down a treat. Maybe you guys can tell me more about michelada.
I've had my fair share, Dorien. What about you?
I have not had my fair share at all. Listen, you guys have to bring me to your neck of the woods, okay? Paul, you're gonna have to bring me to London. Melissa, I am going on your next trip with you.
I love it.
So I guess after we do our summit, I'm flying out to Spain with you, and we're gonna spend some time together.
Let's do it. We've heard about the flavor trends, but what trends are you personally most excited about?
Hey, that's really easy. I mean, for me, I like fire. I like showmanship. I like the play. I like the theater. Look, going out to eat is not just about the food. It's about the whole hospitality experience. So give me smoke and fire any day, and we're seeing it throughout the world now in many cuisines, even South American asado, the brassarades of France, cooking the Anglaise steaks on the open fire, Scandinavia, Scotland with their smokehouses. I mean, it just touches every cuisine, doesn't it? So smoke and fire really gets me fired up, so to speak. And it's something that is everywhere. No matter which country I visit, there is that real front-facing theatrical kitchen. The only thing with this, there's nowhere to hide, because it is testament to the simplest things done properly, great quality ingredients with skill, but you've got no room to muck it up. So, I take my hat off to the chefs and restaurants that practice this side of cookery. But it's a wonderful thing. Talking about fire though, pizza's another one for me. I'm a pizza lover, and I think pizza, if we look at what's going, is pizza ever going to stop? Never. We've just done a little bit of work for actually a client in Dublin, and of course, if you're in Dublin, Guinness is the one, and we made a pizza crust with Guinness, and do you know what? It was sensational. But it's all about marginal gains, isn't it? In the crust, pizza gains all marginal gains, great quality, but it's all about the char, the chew, and all those little tweaks you can do to elevate your pizza. So pizzas, for me, that's a big one, and that's an affordable luxury at the end of the day, and I like that one. And I suppose the last one for me is ferments and dry aging. As we look out there, fermentation, it's huge. We look at koji. fermented, fermented rice at the end of the day, using that to break down the proteins and tenderize things, adding a great depth of umami. So yeah, there's lots of work going out there with in the culinary world with fermentation and dry aging as well. I've just tasted, a friend of mine from his restaurant is purchasing 90-day old dry aged beef that's been dry aged in tallow. 90 days, the flavor. Whoa. So you're seeing all these little things enter the menus that just add in a little bit of sparkle. That's what sort of makes me happy.
Paul, you hit on it in a couple different levels. First, you said quality ingredients. Like we're doing things simply and we're making sure the ingredients are good. The second thing you hit on was the showmanship of the dining and culinary experience and smoke, fire, playing with those elements and just like turning those into a part of the showmanship is just it's mind-boggling to me, and it's my favorite part of going out to eat. I was just in Dallas a few weeks ago, and then they come out to the table with this grapefruit that they've sectioned off for me to make it very edible quickly, bruleed it, a little tahini on top, and I was in heaven. And that was in Texas, and I loved it.
Now that's a flavor profile, isn't it? That's awesome.
So in the portfolio I manage, we have so many different independent multinational brands. How do you recommend those brands execute their hyper local menus while maintaining the brand consistency? Because we know between countries and between regions, even that can be a difficult thing to achieve.
Yeah, look, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it? How do we add that pinch of magic to our menus, that hyper local, what I like to call, and we all like to call, the food story, because every restaurant is different, you know, just fun. That's the great thing about and the exciting thing about hospitality in different countries and different restaurants and hotels is that you just need to procure one thing that's local, that your server and your team then tell everybody, and you've then created, well, a 360 experience, for that local, hyper local, that farm to table experience that everybody strives for. I suppose part of my role throughout Europe is to actually deep dive into our supply chain to find those stories. I'll give you an example. Melissa, I was in Prague representing you a little while ago, and we were testing out some mozzarellas from Italy for a hotel. And I spotted one that looked a little bit artisan over there. I said, let's try that one. And do you know what? We tasted it. It was delicious. I said, tell me about it. He said, yeah, we make this. We make this here in the Czech Republic and, with local milk. And I went, I want this, So it's those little finds that we find. Now, your whole menu doesn't have to be all local and hyper local, but just those little touches, be it the carrots from the local farm or the potatoes or the mozzarella, just then start to build that food story. And I think that's the blend, the engineering we do, and that's how we can help everybody, really does make the balance on your menu. I see so many menus that says we're farm to plate. Yeah, there's some great ones that are 100%, but I always question whether it's possible. But as long as we're doing our bit and creating a food story, I think we're winning, and we're giving our customers something to come back for.
I couldn't agree more. And the proof is in the pudding. I mean, you've been doing such a phenomenal job. And like I said earlier, impactful work with our clients. So we're incredibly excited to have you. And, I think back to you mentioning Christmas markets, which happens to be one of my favorite things to do in December. And so I think I'm going to try to wrangle you to take me to one of these Christmas markets because I can't think of a more enjoyable time than walking around with you trying every single food stall. It's going to be brilliant.
Brussels, here we come. Now I can't be favorite. Brussels, Prague, wherever. They're just wonderful, aren't they? Magical places.
It's
And
true.
you know what? A little bit of snow with that as well. That helps as well, doesn't it?
Oh, little ambiance. I love it. And So you're kind of my celebrity chef, right? I get to go around with Paul Bloxham. But
Bless you.
you mentioned earlier that you've had some off the wall experiences. And I know you've worked with some incredible chefs in your time, including Anthony Bourdain. Do you have any stories you can tell about your experiences?
Hey, look, my experience with with many great chefs, but look, let's talk about Anthony. I had the privilege of him mentoring me for a documentary I made in New York. Um, I'm not going to tell you the date, but I'm going to tell you when the book. So we all remember Kitchen Confidential.
Yes.
Life-changing book for many people, a life-changing book for me, and I think for many people in our industry. Just as that book was launched, I had the privilege of working with Anthony in New York. He mentored me, he showed me around and introduced me to the supply chain within New York. Some great butchers, helped me navigate the characters at Fulton Street Fish Market. That's an experience, that's for sure. Yeah, and this was all captured on film. Subsequently, and I've just watched it a few years ago. A lovely documentary was released by Universal Pictures, and an awesome one called Roadrunner. There I am. I didn't realize this at the time. A little cameo of me and Anthony, and it brought back some great memories. But let's just take Anthony. What does he do? He has been amazing. You look at how we look at food trends. That's what Anthony did with his reach, with his TV shows that, especially with his no holds barred look on the food scene globally. He's given us all a gift, I suppose, of bringing a real global mashup of food together and making us all aware of what quality or what interesting foods from around the globe are all about. Look, he's in my heart every day, that's for sure. I then know he's left us all a gift of changing the food scene throughout the whole world. So yeah, it was a privilege way back then to work with him. But I've worked with many great chefs over the years who have influenced me. But yeah, we'll share that another time.
Well, I think we have come to the end of our road for this particular pod, and I say that with a little somber in my voice because I don't want it to end. I don't want it to end. But Paul, we really do appreciate you taking some time out with us today just to chat about global flavor trends. I have been taking some notes quietly in the background, and I have my research to do. And I know who I am going to reach out to if I have any questions about any of these flavor trends. Paul, thank you for joining us.
A pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Paul. We'll see you next time. In
See
the
you
Wine.
next time.
That was such a fun episode. I have to tell you, Paul's enthusiasm and his passion is contagious. And I think my favorite thing about working with Paul is that passion and how he looks globally at these different trends so he can bring that back to our clients and impact their guest experience. And it is so fun to work with him. And we're incredibly lucky to have him on our team.
I mean, I couldn't agree with you more, Melissa. Paul mentioned bringing flavors of Japan over into Europe. He mentioned, the small tweaks that you can make to menus to make them hyper local. And then also, Paul mentioned, bringing theater into the culinary experience, which I am a huge fan of. I'm a big flambe guy, a brulee guy. Bring in the fire and smoke my old fashioned, please, all day long. And so I'm looking forward to continuing to work with Paul a little bit more, especially because I have so many brands that I manage that are multinational. I'm ready. And I know you are too, Melissa.
Oh, I'm here for it. But I want to touch on one thing you had said. You talked about the experience of it, right? The smoke, the fire, just like Paul was talking about. And I think that's something that we need to hold on to is it is a culinary experience guests have anytime they eat at the hotels, right? Or restaurants or wherever. And all of your senses need to be involved in that to really curate a memorable culinary experience.
So, for everyone listening out there, the takeaway is do not take those items off your menu. Keep the experiential aspect in your menus and drive revenue that way.
Absolutely. Dorien, I'll be seeing you next and we'll have a smoked old fashioned together.
There we go. I'm with it and I'm ready.
Thanks for meeting with us today. Interested in becoming a member of Avendra's procurement services? Scan the QR code on the screen or visit us at www.avendra.com to inquire. To learn more about Avendra International and the latest hospitality news and trends, follow us on LinkedIn at Avendra International. Meet in the Lobby is a production from Avendra International. Special thanks to our executive producers, Dorien Murphy, Melissa McCormack, Corey Moriarty, Eleanor Waddell, and Lindsay Garbachik, and our production partners, Market Scale. To learn more, click the link in the description.